Matinani, glad you could join us. Languishing in committee. That's where Senator Joanne Brown's Bill 37-36 sits. The bill would bar anyone convicted of official misconduct from being hired into KUAM. The measure is currently in limbo in Senator Joe Sinagustine's Governmental Operations Committee. Brown telling The Link that it hasn't received enough votes to be reported out of committee.
I am aware that the Senator St. Augustine staff has circulated this bill more than 2 times, that the senators members of the committee would vote on it and take a position. Certainly with these issues that have come up and that we've seen, it continues to remind us that we have individuals that, had the opportunity as public servants to serve our people, and unfortunately through actions of their own that have benefited themselves, they were charged and convicted or pled to official misconduct. And then we end up finding them resurfacing in the government in another position.
The bill was introduced in February in response to the hiring of former prison guard Frankie Rosselin at the port. Rosselin pled guilty for his role in a drug smuggling scheme at the prison. The AG opened that Rosselin's hiring at the port was legal. Rosselin is the brother-in-law to Lieutenant Governor Josh Tenorio.
I don't think we should be rewarding that in this community. I think it sends the wrong message. It sends the wrong message to our young people out there that we continue to encourage to, study hard and do well, and you're going to succeed. And right now, we're literally rolling out the red carpet for people that have committed these offensive crimes.
Senators on the committee where Brown's bill is stuck in legislative purgatory include administration supporters, Vice Speakers Tina Muñoz-Barnes, Senators Jose Pito Talahi, Amanda Shelton, Mary Camacho Torres, Clint Rigel. Speaker Therese Talahi is also on the committee. Meanwhile, Senators Sinagustin and Ada voted in favor. Senator Bloss voted to report out. The Department of Corrections is hopeful that legislation to fund a new prison will ultimately push through. Speaking Monday on The Link, Major Anton Uggin says DOC hopes to complete a draft master plan by August, and the next step would be to identify the money to pay for a new facility.
We're not talking about a 1,000 bed overnight. Our population is 500 something, so even if we came around the 500 mark, 600 mark for now, as part of phase 1, that'll be great, because that will cut down on overtime. It will cut down on the number of officers that we need to run this prison. Maintenance is one of our major costs every year.
A bill by Senator Joe Sinaugustine would tap up to $5 million from the general fund and $5 million in earned income tax rebates from the feds to pay for a new prison. Major Uggin says they can't estimate the cost until the master plan is completed. He adds that they don't plan to move from the current site in Manilao.
We're looking at using our existing footprint here. As we know, if we decide to go somewhere else, we're probably going to spend about 2 years just getting lynched by the community, having a, not in my backyard. I think we pretty much established.
Yeah,
we pretty much established ourselves up here, and we have enough land, if it's built properly, to redesign the current facility over the course of several years. So
Uggin says they also want to shut down the Hagåtña detention facility and build a modern new jail at the Manilao that can house up to 400 detainees. He says that will also cut down on overtime and require less personnel to operate. A bipartisan group of senators were back at the White House Thursday to brief President Biden on the agreement they reached on an infrastructure bill, one of his top domestic goals. Natalie Brand reports from the White House.
Speaking from the East Room, President Biden officially announced he's reached an infrastructure deal with a bipartisan group of senators.
This bipartisan agreement represents the largest investment in public transit in American history.
He stood alongside the group after a final meeting Thursday morning when they agreed to the details.
None of us got what we wanted.
The $1.2 trillion proposal includes $579 billion in new spending focused on physical infrastructure, including transportation, water, energy, and broadband.
It was essential to show the American people that the Senate can function.
A major sticking point they overcame: how to pay for it. The deal includes redirecting a portion of unused COVID relief funding and enhanced tax enforcement.
There's no gas tax increase. no fee on electric vehicles.
A deal on infrastructure would be the first major bipartisan bill struck between the new administration and Congress, but it still has a long ways to go.
I don't know how far it's going to get. I think it'll get all the way. We got the president behind it, this group here.
Progressive Democrats want assurances there will be a separate bill that moves through the reconciliation process that includes other White House priorities, such as child care, addressing climate change, and job training.
I'm going to fight like heck to get them the rest of what I think has to be done.
Democratic leaders have made clear that both bills will move forward at the same time.
There ain't going to be an infrastructure bill unless we have the reconciliation bill passed by the United States Senate.
Congressional leaders are aiming to bring legislation to the floor next month before August recess. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Renee San Agustin Bermudez has been charged with possession of a Schedule II controlled substance as a third-degree felony. While in custody, Bermudez asked about her purse that she placed on the trunk of the patrol car. When officers retrieved it, they discovered 10 small reusable bags containing a white residue, suspected methamphetamines, 5 clear syringes with unknown liquid and orange-colored tips, a case containing an improvised glass pipe with black residue, and a heat-sealed plastic straw. She was booked and confined. Mason Phillip was arrested on aggravated assault and family violence charges for allegedly hitting a woman known to him with a beach folding chair. According to a magistrate's complaint, Phillip had been drinking earlier that afternoon and was, quote, very drunk. The victim reportedly told him to go inside the house and lower his music repeatedly, but he ignored the request. Phillip then became angry with the victim and struck her with a beach folding chair and began slapping her on the forehead multiple times. The assault lasted approximately 5 minutes. He was booked and confined. The Department of Administration has been given the green light by the Attorney General's office to proceed with the procurement of a new financial management system. DOA's current system is about 20 years old. It was also referenced in a report by the Guam OPA that stated that the AS-400 was overdue for a replacement. Administration Director Edward Burns says the new FMS is badly needed, especially with all of the federal aid pouring that has very specific reporting requirements.
So with all this pressure on the system, we certainly want to get this system in and up and running as quickly as possible. And it will help, with transparency. It's very difficult now to be transparent. It's not transparent to the users. So it's certainly pretty difficult to make it transparent to the public. So I'm certainly confident that we can make some of these reports quicker, more useful with a new system.
Byrd hopes to have an RFP out by the end of this week. Bidders will have 2.5 weeks to respond. It's not clear how much a new FMS system will cost, but in previous interviews, Byrd has said at least $8 million was being set aside in American Rescue Plan funds for the procurement. It's an opportunity to make a difference in people's lives. Gumamami Inc. has recently established a list of various job openings as they mark their 40th anniversary. The nonprofit provides services to individuals with disabilities and plans to widen their services. They are expanding programs and implementing 2 new projects in partnership with the Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center and the Guam Coalition Against Sexual Assault and Family Violence. Director Sam Ilisgum.
Our new project with the Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center is the goal is to encourage active participation in treatment and services for persons with serious mental illness. And we'll be for that project we'll be hiring a program supervisor who will oversee the program and oversee the peer navigators. The other program with the Guam Coalition Against Sexual Assault and Family Violence, it's a new program. It's actually an expansion of one of our programs that provides services to individuals with disabilities who are also victims of sexual assault or family violence.
You can view KUAM's full interview with the organization and learn more about the job openings on our YouTube page. The application can be found at gumamami.org. With bees dying across the globe from a variety of factors, including air pollution, pesticides, global warming, among other things, the Guam Department of Agriculture is working with the U.S. Department of Agriculture to mail out its queen bees to have them tested. The trial is to see if the bees are viable for a queen bee export industry on Guam. Guam Beekeepers Association President Christopher Rosario.
We're really starting to initiate this this potential industry where Guam can actually export queen bees. But of course, this does take quite a bit of a process. But for us to actually start now, it's because the U.S. now has us on Guam in its radar for potential viable queens.
He added that the export industry will be beneficial for Guam. For several years, Rosario has been doing research, and results show that our queen bees are much healthier than the ones in the U.S. mainland. He shared that the beekeeping industry on the island continues to grow. Stay tuned. Next on Weekend Edition, we have another Profiles in Pride, and still to come, Dave Delgado with a look at sports. Keep it here.
Get up-to-the-minute news, plus access to alerts, streaming radio, promotions, and more on your mobile device by downloading the KUAM News mobile app, available at the App Store now.
Half a day. As we look ahead to a brighter tomorrow, Matson's commitment to Guam and Micronesia remains stronger than ever. While the world around us is ever-changing, what remains unchanged is our commitment to you, our customers, and the island communities we serve. Shipping is what we do best, and serving our community is at the heart of everything we do. But we don't do it alone. This is why we support organizations that make caring for the people and the environment a top priority. We know that many count on Matson's lifeline services in the Pacific, and that's why we continue to work hard to ensure that our shipments remain on time all the time. Matson recently added another Aloha-class vessel to our schedule. We now have two of Matson's largest and fastest ships serving Guam from the U.S. West Coast and Hawaii. With our new state-of-the-art vessels, we stand ready to support the region's economic recovery. Thank you for the privilege of serving you for the last 25 years, and you can count on Matson to be here for the next 25 years and beyond.
We won't.
We will wait. We will wait.
For someone to come
save us. We won't wait for the waters to be cleared. We won't just wait to breathe clean air. We won't wait to uplift our lives today and to embrace our now for better.
We dream. We dare. No holding back.
We go for it.
Because tomorrow,
for us to create. For tomorrow, we won't wait.
Welcome back. It's Pride Month, and throughout June on our digital platforms, we'll be featuring Profiles in Pride, highlighting incredible individuals in the LGBTQ community. Tonight, we introduce you to F. Glenn Lujan and Josh St. Augustine.
Buenas and Hafa Day. My name is F. Glenn Lujan.
And I'm Joshua St. Augustine.
We are the hosts of KUAM's podcast network. We'll be coming up with our own show called Hafa Day Zoo. Basically, we're going to be just discussing all things related to our LGBTQ community and just shed some light on who we are and what we do, and you know, we're just everyday people on Guam.
And we got a lot of interesting topics coming up too, so please stay tuned because it's gonna get juicy.
Very juicy.
So like growing up, I guess for me, when I knew the difference between male and female, I knew what I was attracted to already. I think I was like 4 or 5 years old at the time. And then I didn't start to act on that maybe until I was like 16 or 17 years old. I had my first boyfriend. One of my siblings and I got into a huge argument, and the sibling of mine was like, I'm gonna go and tell Mom you have a boyfriend. Said sibling comes around the corner and says, Mom, did you know Joshua has a boyfriend? And I'm like, my mom turns on, she goes, do you have a boyfriend? And I was like, I do. And that was it. I mean, thankfully though, you know, my mom did have a gay brother, so we had a gay uncle growing up, and they were already exposed to that early on. But it was a little harder for him, and so I guess for me, my mom tried to make it a little easier when I kind of came out.
So for me, my coming out story, you know, I knew from the get-go in my teens, I was a little bit, there's something different about me, the way I'm feeling and everything. And there was one night here at the house, my mom was in her room, and you know, I just felt that I felt the need to tell her, you know, I go, Mom, there's something I need to tell you. And you know, of course my mom's response is, what? And I was just really quiet, I was nervous, I was fidgeting. And you know, she's just sitting there, you know, she's watching TV, and I go, Mom, I need to tell you something. And she goes, what? Just tell me, spit it out. And I'm like, Mom, you know, I just took a deep breath and I said, Mom, I'm gay. And then my mom just, she stopped looking at the TV, she turned towards me, and you know, she just said, "Aye, dear boy, what am I gonna do? You know, God created you this way, and you're my son, and I love you no matter what. No matter what, who you love and for who you are. So don't worry about it. You know, everything's gonna be okay." And I was bawling, I was crying, and you know, I took it. I was, you know, being so dramatic, and she's even like, "Why are you crying?" I said, "Oh, because, you know, it's so emotional, Mom." And she goes, "Aire," she goes, you're okay, you know, God loves you, I love you, and that's all that matters." So Aire, and then she goes, "No wonder why I'm always wondering why you keep going out every night. I'm like, "Oh, that's what it is?" I go, "Yeah, Mom." And she goes, "Aire, I thought you're doing something else. Duru how night, the clubbing." And I go, "Yeah, I know, but," and I would always tell my mom, "Mom, I got a study group." And she's like, "Hafi, I seen a class in study group at 10 o'clock at night." So, you know, once I cleared that and got that out of my system, you know, everything was good. My mom was my backbone, and you know, I really truly loved her for that support. I didn't really know a lot of gay people when I came out to my mom in the late 90s, early 2000s, and again, I have to give one of my friends credit, Tim De La Cruz. He's also another prominent person in our LGBTQ community, and I did meet more gay people through Tim and his partner from before, and they had introduced me to, Tim had introduced me to Charlene Cruz and Ed, Bubbles, known as Bubbles Roberto, Charlene known as Mama Char in our group, and Ed as Bubbles, and that's what led to our group, which I am a part of, the house, the Sisters of the Moonlight. And Charlene and Bubbles, you know, they're like the mother and father of our house, and they really accepted me. It just felt right. You know, most of us have our biological family, but you know, in our community we have our chosen family, and so that's who you know, my chosen family is, the Sisters of the Moonlight.
I think I became more aware of it when people started sharing their stories with me, like what they went through, because I fortunately didn't have that type of experience growing up. Like, I always was surrounded by people that didn't care, you know, who I chose to love. As long as I was loving somebody, that's all I cared about. I think that was when, you know, even our house, the House of Diosa, including the Sisters of the Moonlight, like, we started to really reach out there to the community. Like, people started coming to us, asking us questions like, how do I do this? How do I do that? Oh, you know, I think one of my children is, you know, identifying as gay or trans. Like, I don't know what to do.
What do we do? What are your thoughts? You know, how can we guide our children, or you know, someone that's coming to us and confiding in us? It wasn't until recently I just got to know Josh as well. Yeah. So it's different, and hearing Joshua's perspective, you know, he grew up in a time where it was socially acceptable now, versus my time, you know, back in the 80s, 90s when I was going to school, I would get beat up or bullied, you know, you get teased, you know, I mean, I'm an educator now and I see it in the schools. It's so socially accepting now, and I'm just like, wow, you know, we've come so far.
We have come a long way.
Yeah.
We really have. You know, if you tie that into Chamorro culture, it's family-based. You know, it's all about respect for one another. And for me, I just think it's a lot more socially accepting to be who we are here on Guam, only because there's been a lot of overwhelming support. Gay, straight, bi, trans, straight, it does not matter. Family's family.
Coming up, local sports roundup. Keep it here.
Your community calendar is brought to you by Taco Bell. Whether it's your first meal or your fourth meal, we've got you covered. Taco Bell, live Mas.
Guam's auto appearance specialist, Elegant Reflections, has been providing the automotive industry with professional detailing and car care products at its highest quality, from complete detailing, full interior detailing, exterior detailing, headlamp restoration, hand washing, seat and carpet shampoo, engine degreasing, undercarriage cleaning, paint sealant, fabric protection, paint oxidation removal, and so much more. Visit us at our new location. Call 646-5555 for an appointment. Elegant Reflections, Guam's auto appearance specialist, over 20 years of experience.
KUAM News, in partnership with the Guam Visitors Bureau, brings you the Guam Safe and WTTC Safe Travel Certified Program Showcase. Look out for this powerful symbol for visitors, island residents, and industry workers alike, as it represents establishments with a consistent global commitment to safety practices. Stamped with approval by the Guam Visitors Bureau and the World Travel Tourism Council. Every Monday on KUAM News will feature a different local business who's taken the Safe Guam and Safe Travels pledge to maintain health and safety standards to get Guam back on track. Log on to visitguam.com to see how your business can receive the designation, what businesses in our community are Guam Safe certified, and have the WTTC Safe Travel certified.
KUAM Sports Weekend Roundup is brought to you by Gatorade.
Team Supreme and Team Elite laced up for the 6th annual Wendy's Boys High School All-Star Game at the FD Phoenix Center. John McCaldo with the answer. Top of the key, yes sir, count that for 3. Both squads going bucket for bucket. Daryl Robles, short jumper, falls for 2 points. Kyler Aflahi going to the rack for the finish. Back the opposite way, Jeremiah Kentucky sees an opening and gets in for the score, going glass for the lay-in. Josiah Quintanilla showing his range. Pull up 3, Drano all net from the outside. Jeff Labanza with the assist from Carl Vinca gets the bounce off another deep ball. Dudes were making it rain at the Phoenix Center. Justin Arjona getting in on the action. Labanza was the plug with the assist. Fans enjoying the high-scoring game. Vinca going to work inside. Spin move to get the shot to go over the defender. Nate Carrion uses his speed to get by the defense for the scoop shot. High off the backboard. Cruz to Jeremiah David for another long-range score. David with the pass to Bryce Chargaloff, chilling down low. Chargaloff with the easy deuce. Team Supreme picked up the win 103-102. Xander Sanchez with the last bucket. Assist here from Jacob Miranda. Shout out to the refs for their contributions to the sporting community. Let's check out some Pacific Industry Basketball League highlights from the Guam Sports Complex. Imperials and MBI. Aljarel Grappe with the pass off the steal, goes right at the defender for the score. Imperials attacking the basket early. Ike Gan put up 23 points for MBI. Mr. International Chris Connor straight off the trip from Amon Jordan. Hits from the outside. Team Guam in the house. MBI played the game with only 5 players. Gan with the bucket inside the paint. Grappe misses the corner 3. Dave Sardoma was posted up. Right place, right time. Put back by Sardoma is good. Jonathan Mitra finished the game with 8 points. Hook shot left side of the baseline off glass is money. Imperials got the win 73-36. Rodson Samina Cleaning up around the glass with the follow-up, he put up 12 points in the win. The 2020 Summer Olympics Games is a month away and will be held in Tokyo, Japan from July 28th through August 8th. An estimated 205 nations and over 11,000 athletes are set to compete in Tokyo. This year's motto is United by Emotion. Opening ceremonies will be held at the Japan National Stadium. Japan was selected to host the Olympic Games in 2013. Japan last hosted the Summer Olympic Games in 1964. New to this year's games will be 3-on-3 basketball, freestyle BMX, Madison cycling, karate, sport climbing, surfing, and skateboarding. Guidelines for the games include COVID testing before departure and upon arrival in Japan. Athletes and support staff will also have to avoid interacting with locals and stay in bubbles. COVID testing will be done daily for all participants. You can catch this year's opening ceremonies live Friday, July 23rd at 9 p.m. on KUAM TV8. With the recent positive cases of COVID in Fiji, the country has closed their borders to all incoming flights. This has created a big problem for other Olympic committees because Fiji was the designated transfer point. Though Guam doesn't have that problem, GNOC President Rick Blas says the Guam delegation will be lending a hand to our fellow Olympic committees.
Protocols are constantly changing. They're basically updating protocols. We even have what they call a COVID liaison officer. Every Olympic committee is required to have one. But, the biggest challenge, I think, for many of us now, and, not so much for Guam, but for NOCs like Palau, FSM, Marshalls, and the rest of my NOCs down in Oceania, Nauru, Tuvalu, Kiribati, they're really having a major challenge of just trying to leave their country.
Team Guam will be sending athletes to the games beginning July 9th. The rest of the delegation will leave island on July 20th. Guam can expect a 4-hour delay when arriving in Japan for processing.
And then once they get into the Games Village, everyone is already given a handout of the restrictions moving in and around the Games Village. The athletes are not at liberty to leave the Games Village, and that's going to be the bigger challenge for many of the countries because when you have a big delegation, it's hard to control who comes and who goes.
Guam will be represented in judo, swimming, wrestling, track and field, and Olympic-style weightlifting.
We didn't want to let Joster know that he had already been qualified for the continental slot. And that's primarily to ensure that he's focused on his training and competition going into the Olympic Games. Then we have the two swimmers, Maneri Gomez and Jager Stevens, that are currently in Phuket, Thailand. There's an international swimming camp there. Regine, she's been selected. As you know, track and field has basically changed the way they select their athletes now. It's going to be based on the best performing records and rank and file system. So Regine has the highest point system. And then, of course, wrestling was qualified from IF competition in Tunisia.
With the games less than a month away, Blas is happy with the way our athletes have handled training and competing during the pandemic.
They really did a good job focusing, competing on the international circuit. And I've always told them, if you know that you've done your best on the competition hall, for whatever happens, you leave it there, and you walk out with your head up high.
Let's catch up with Rocky Martinez days after his tough split decision loss to Josh Parisian at UFC Fight Night in Las Vegas.
When I found out it was when I started hearing that it was a split decision to begin with, I was thinking in my head, I was like, oh man, I'm about to only win by a split decision. I thought it would be unanimous. But yeah, man, it really threw me off when he got the split decision thing. So definitely was definitely shocked at that.
How confident were you were going to get the decision?
I'll be honest, I wasn't super confident. I thought I worked really hard, but I wasn't sure because of the cage control. Sometimes I think maybe he had me on the wall more, and then